Hey everyone, so today we have here, this is a Western Digital external drive that we do have in here for data recovery. And we'll just go over a bit today and we'll talk about it. So when you have one of these external drives, it does use a micro USB that plugs into this side, and then you can use a regular USB that plugs into the other side. And that will plug it in. When you plug it in, you might see sometimes if you have an issue where you plug it or you don't see anything that actually does come up, you don't see any drive or anything. Sometimes you might not get any power, you might feel it and you don't feel anything, or sometimes you might see the light blinking and it's trying to read and then the disk will spin, but you still don't see anything on the computer or your MacBook or anything like that, and you're wondering, oh, well, what the issue is. So you bring it into a place like us, we do data recovery on it. So this is going to be the first thing that we really do is when you get something like that, it is a data recovery process again. Usually what it is there's usually a problem on the motherboard of these. And you're asking yourself, well, there's a motherboard on this, isn't there? I thought it was just a disk that spins, right? So yes, there is. There's a mechanical drive that actually does go here, and there needs to be communication between that mechanical drive and where you plug it into the computer, right? And how it reads and writes your data and how it locates it on the platters and everything like that. So let's just go over it. So let's just open it up. Okay, so you have a drive like this. You can open it up. This one we did open, obviously, and it just comes up. And you have your drive here. And this one is a 5 terabyte drive. It's a pretty big and pretty chunky boy there. And you see that there is a motherboard here attached to this drive. And you can see there's contact pins and everything. This is how they communicate. So there will be a contact for that. I usually have a bunch of screws around here, and that's how it communicates with the drive itself. So you'll see that this one, again, is a USB drive. You see that? That's where you can plug in that cable that goes into it. And the thing is with these is to work on them, and especially for PC3000, which is a data recovery tool that we have here, and a lot of major places that do data recovery do have that. That usually does require that you have to convert this USB board to a Sata board. And a Sata board is a typical hard drive. I can even show an example for here. This is just a regular one that we have. This is a big Western Digital that we do have. It's a big, thick one. It's one that usually goes in desktop drives. You can see this is a SATA port, which is basically a standard for any type of SSD or regular hard drive, especially mechanical hard drive in the last, how many years? Maybe 15, 20 years. That's just been a standard there. And you see sometimes there's hard drive enclosures that have it and to plug it in. But for any tools there's no way we can just plug this in and we can make it work with our tools. So we need to convert this. And so you're going to ask yourself, okay, so how do we convert that? And especially if it does have a connector, it's not something that we would just want to desolder. It's something that we can just actually find a replacement board that's just like it. And then you're asking yourself, okay, well, isn't that easy? I can just go buy maybe like a $60 board, or I can just buy a $60 hard drive that's the same model as this like that, and then it's just going to work fine and it'll be the same board and everything. You might think that, and that sounds like it might be right, but it's not correct at this point. So what we need to do is we need to locate this exact type of board that it does have here. And again, there's just a bunch of screws. We already took it off, and this is what it is. So this, you can think of this is a very unique board to this model itself. And what we want to do is we want to make this work. And at this point, though, we want to make sure that we do convert this to SATA. So when you have a board like this, we want to get the exact same board that looks very similar to this, and we want to match it up so we can get one that is a SATA version of this. So most of the time, that's the only thing is that the communication points are different. Of course, you can solder it. That is a lot of work too, and you can actually just make this SATA port into. You can make this USB port into a SATA port, but we don't want to do that because the work and the risk more involved with it. What we can do instead is just get a donor board, and we can get one, and we can just replace the main chip that goes on here. And you're asking yourself, well, why do we need to do that? Why can't we just use another board for it and just replace it and everything? Yep. Well, there's a reason for that, because there is a ROM chip on here that we need to, that basically is the BIOS, if you want to talk about it, or BIOS or operating system that's very unique to this board. And you need to upload the exact firmware, and so the BIOS can read itself, and it can read to the drive and everything. And it needs to, because otherwise it's just a dummy board, right? If you just have this, you plug it in, it's just a dummy board. It doesn't understand anything. It has to have a brain somewhere. So the brain is on here, and that's something that basically has its own operating system, and it's something that communicates from this to the drive itself. So what you want to do is you want to actually look for a very similar board to this, because we want to actually go with a SATA connection instead. And what you can do is there are a few numbers actually on the back of this. We can actually go into the microscope right now. we have this here, and we want to look up the board, and there's a board number there. It's under fine print. You don't necessarily need microscope, but for making this video, we can tell that this is the board number that we do need, and it's very important, even the revision and everything. But more important than just that, you'll probably get a very similar one, is that you want the components to be very similar here. And you want it to be basically matched up on how all the components are laid out. And you want to get as close as you possibly can, because some of these chips and components here, they can have different names on them because they're manufactured with different parts from different manufacturers. So you might have a very similar layout board, and maybe some of these components are a little bit different, or at least the name is a little bit different on each one. So we actually do have, and this is our little buddy that we want to take off here. And we want to replace this chip because that's really important to communicate, because we want to reuse the same one here. That is the ROM chip, and we want to use it on the converter board. So a data recovery shop like us does have a lot of donor boards, and believe it or not, voila, I actually do have a Sata board right here. And this is actually a great example to show you the difference and pretty much how very similar it is. You can see how it does look very similar on here, and you can see here's the difference between the connections. It's going to help us connect it to the PC3000 so we can read this a little bit better. We can't just put the SATA board into the hard drive itself and it's just going to work all of a sudden, because it needs to know where is the data located, and it needs to communicate with the hard drive itself. So what we want to do is, when we have this here, and right here is actually called, this is the ROM chip that we want to actually replace. And this is basically the brain of it, and it's basically the operating system like we talked about earlier. And what we want to do is we want to swap these two out. Once you swap them out, then the brain becomes the brain on here, and then everything else will work the same. So if you don't do that, if you just plug it in, it'll just be basically like a dummy drive. It'll do the same thing. You'll plug it in, and it'll just spin. It'll turn on, it'll spin, and that will be it. It won't really work or communicate with the board at all, because it doesn't know where the data is located or anything else like that. So for something like this is what we would need to do, is to get the ROM chip, and this is why this is extremely important. As you can see, the layout is very identical. Some of the components may be a little bit different, but that's okay. The main layout is fine, and you can even have trouble because of some of those components that are there, and they're a little bit different. It can give you problems still, because it may be not exactly perfect, but it's the best you can really do. You want to at least match up as best as you possibly can, and it's very hard to get something exactly perfect, because there's a country of origin that it's made, and there's a date, a year, and some of them are even months apart, which in a data recovery world is crazy. So, and that's just the way it is when that goes with that. So even if you do that, what we can do is, we'll definitely show another video, but we're just kind of doing more of a talking point here for this, is you would swap out these two ROM chips. You can just desolder them, swap them out, and put it on the new one. And then once you do that, then what you're going to be doing is you'll be plug that in, and you'll be good to go, right? Well, that is kind of right, but there's one more thing I didn't really talk about this board, and especially you're probably saying it over the screen if you have an idea about recovery, data recovery, and Western Digital ones, is I'm going to show this actually on the other screen. We have the other screen here, we're just doing anything. This would be SSD, hard drives in general, but this is just the point of Western Digital drives. When you scroll down here, any type of drive that you buy from Western Digital is actually hardware encrypted with hardware encryption. So if you buy it, this isn't the same thing that we're talking about when you buy a drive and then you put a password on it with the software involved. This one actually has a hardware encryption board itself. So if you see here, it does say there is a 256-bit AES hardware encryption. We actually did a video on talking about hardware and different types of encryptions. If you want to go ahead and check that out, this will be part of it actually, and we do mention about Western Digital. They are very specific on it. So what does that mean for these type of boards? Well, since we do have the board here, the board that we do get here, and the one we do have is obviously these are encrypted, but the one that we do have is you have to get ones that are decrypted. So it's important not to just get the one that's exactly the same, but you have to get a decrypted board that you can actually read the data even after you swap the ROM chips and you upload the firmware and do everything like that, so we make it work. If you don't have that, then you're going to be the same loop that you were in before, but you'll have an encryption on there, and it's very difficult for any type of data recovery, because that's not even recovering the data. That's an encryption, and that's a total different thing that data recovery places do anyway, because there's an encryption. It's removing encryption of an encryption obviously on there. So we want to avoid that completely, so you have to get a decrypted one on top of all of that. So anytime we ever get a Western Digital donor boards, we make sure that we get a decrypted Western Digital board. If you don't get that, then it's almost worthless really to any place. So that's why those are important. So once you get your decrypted board, that's a SATA board like this one. Once you swap the ROM chips like this one, you have to upload a certain firmware. And once you upload the firmware, then you can at least have an operational drive. You can plug it in, you can make it work, and then you can start the data recovery from there. And once we have all that, then the data recovery actually starts. So you can see the lengthy process of what it is to deal with hard drives, and this is just one particular case, especially for Western Digital. Once you do all that work, what you would have to do then is you do the data recovery process, because you at least get the board up and running. The device can turn on, and you still might not be able to access the data because there still could be a hardware issue inside the mechanical parts, this part of the drive itself, and how you may hear a clicking noise or a grinding noise on top of all that, even after you did all that work for it, and you spent the money to get the donor board, and you had to locate the donor board, upload the firmware, swap the ROM chips, all that stuff. You can still have a mechanical issue that goes on after this, and you still might not be able to easily read the data even after that, even with a PC3000 and lots of other tools that do come in there. You still, after that, you might have to do a head replacement, or if there's a damaged platter on top of that, if the platter got damaged or anything like that, then you're out of luck. That's just a little bit of a talking point to show what our process is for doing data recoveries, especially on Western Digital hard drives, because there is that hardware encryption. It's very interesting. We just want you guys to know that. Definitely stay tuned for that. We'll show you how to swap the ROM chips, upload firmware. We'll definitely do that in future videos, especially for data recovery, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video and found this video very informative, please leave a like. It really does help us a lot. Subscribe for more content. Stay tuned for those other videos too. We also do liquid spills on MacBooks and lots of other machines. And again, we do data recoveries and lots of other things. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Bye.